Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are here. We are live. Welcome to the stream. Tonight is our Holiday Horror Stories podcast. We have a lineup of creators here who are going to share the wildest stories that you've probably ever heard from their holiday seasons. And I just can't wait for it. I mean, if you could see the lineup that I'm about to bring on, you would know that the stories are about to be insane. And before we do that, I do need a quick shout out. Howie Jr. 2000, Masala for Madavi for following about 2 hours ago. In the last stream, we had Screwbabe with the shout out and Chicken Joy for the follow. And then Ziberian had gifted a sub to Kaylee, actually one of our creators, and Mandy Chan 30 had subscribed as well. So I want to make sure we gave those shout outs from the last stream. But we're going to go ahead and bring our creators in here. Starting with actually one of our, she was part of our admin team, has said that wasn't enough anymore, things to put on my plate. So she started a podcast, and our most recent addition to the Titancast lineup, Kelly from Good Luck Everyone Else. Hello.
Hey, hello.
Welcome in. We have
Thanks.
We have our spooky specialist from You Don't Want to Know, Mags.
Hi, fam.
And then we have, he's been here for most of the life of Titan, one of the fan faves in all of our broadcasts. Let's bring him on. Nate from Two Beards, please.
What's going on?
Beard one.
Somehow she always ends up being the last that we bring on. I'm going to have to mix that up here next time. But from Titan TV, our most recent project, host of the Josie Show and fellow streamer, let's welcome in Josie Quinn. Welcome.
Hello.
Woo.
Hello, everybody. So, again, we are going to be going through, and we do have somebody that's going to be joining momentarily as well. Josie, unfortunately, is only able to join us for a little bit here, but that's okay. So we'll be swapping them out partway through. But this is podcast brought to Twitch, and I'm going to hand it off to our podcasters. Who wants to kind of take the lead on this?
Well, dang.
I know.
What
I
an
didn't
it.
warn anybody about that. I just drop it in somebody's lap.
No. Well, I mean, we were kind of discussing beforehand that, can't relate. We don't really have too many horror stories, at least around Christmas. A few of us have Thanksgiving horror stories.
Yeah, mine's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So I actually have one of each.
Me
so
too.
if you want, I can kick us off here. I'll start with Thanksgiving, and then I'll circle back around and do my Christmas one at the end.
Beautiful.
So, when I was growing up, I come from a divorced family, like many people do, and my mom got remarried when I was mid-teens, and there was always a contentious relationship there a little bit with my stepdad, and also growing up with my sister, she and I used to fight like cats and dogs. So we're going to set the scene. This happens. There's three main players in this story, including me, my stepfather, my sister, who happens to be named Kelly as well, and my younger brother, who is my half brother, a product of my stepfather and my mother, Josh. So I had just gotten married, so I was probably in my late 20s when this happened, and my sister and let's just say we're better now. And I want to preface this. I love my family. My family is great. My stepfather's passed away. My mother's passed away. But my brother, my sister are obviously still with us. I was texting my sister earlier to see if she could remember some of the details, and she doesn't remember a lot of it, but she does want to. I'll tell you what she said a little bit later once we get to that part. But we were. We'd gone to church as a family, and on our way back from church, my younger brother, he's 13 years younger than me, so he's an adult now. At the time, he was maybe 14. So my brother rode back with my wife and I, and on our way home, we were discussing. It was like a 30-minute drive. We were discussing my sister and who she was dating at the time, which in retrospect was a mistake. Uh, so
Oh no.
have
Oh no.
We all
yeah,
have them.
but I made a comment about the guy that she was dating. There was some issues that I had with him, and my brother misconstrued what I said completely.
Oh
And
no.
he didn't say anything in the car, but we get back to the house, and we walk in the house, and I'm in the house with my wife and my stepfather and my mother and my sister comes charging in and starts confronting me about what I said in the
Oh.
car.
That's good.
So
That's good.
my brother my brother had completely misconstrued what I said
That's good.
and said that I didn't like something about what in general people that she was dating, not about this guy specifically. So my sister and I had words, and how our house is built, the house I grew up in, we've got the main level, and then there's a basement that opens up. There used to be a driveway that the garage was down in the basement area, which that ended up becoming a bedroom. We built that into a bedroom. So we had a sliding glass door outside. We called it the hill. So we were down the hill. My sister, flies, down the hill. I'm down there with her, and we're literally toe to toe, pushing each other, just about ready to throw hands. We were seriously, we were one more comment away from somebody getting punched.
All
And
over a boy.
What am I thankful for? Not you.
Yeah.
right. So just to set the stage, my sister is 2 years younger than me, and let's put it this way, she's a person that you don't want to mess with. She is a badass person, and since we're way better now, everything's fine. It has been for years and years and years. But yeah, we were at the point of fisticuffs. Like I said, one more comment and we would have had hands flying. But it gets better. So
oh my gosh, it's not over.
it's not over.
What?
So my stepdad, he, like I said, he and I used to have a fairly contentious relationship, and I, because of how close I was with my mother, he had a tendency to take sides that wasn't mine on any disagreement or argument or anything that happened in the house. So I tended to get the blame for quite a bit of stuff. So he started jumping in and was riding my case about this and made some wild accusation about me stealing pennies out of his penny jar. And so I started blowing up at him, and I'm like cussing up a storm. My wife's sitting there. My new wife is sitting there going, what in the world did I get myself into? Because her family is the sweetest people, very normal, very, my family, again, this is not a unique situation. That this has happened multiple times. In fact, I tell a story one time about my sister and I on one of our shows where she ends up throwing a hammer at me, missed, but so we got to the point
You
where
Wisconsins are rough, man. That
right,
is.
yeah. So my mom's
Jeez.
crying. My brother, I'm pissed at this is why my stepdad jumped in, because I started yelling at my brother for sticking his nose in where it didn't belong. So then my stepdad jumped in. Then I started freaking out, and I'm like, F this, we're leaving. I went into the bedroom. I started packing stuff up, and my wife comes in and says, just calm down, take a deep breath. And I'm still fired up at this point. I'm a big guy. I'm 6'3" and almost 400 pounds at this point. And I'm like, I'm ready to take them both out. All three of them, my brother, my stepdad, and my sister, all three of them.
Oh my
So
gosh.
yeah, that was probably the most awkward and anxious Thanksgiving that we've had.
Oh.
How was
Yeah.
Christmas that year?
What's that?
How was Christmas that year?
I think it was a lot calmer.
So after all
Yeah.
of that, you had to sit down and have dinner together?
Yes, yeah.
Oh.
I ended up calming down. We kind of got to a detente, and yes, we did sit down and have dinner together. But yeah, I was not
You're
happy.
going to like someone's reaching ahead of you to get something, and you're like, stab. Don't stab him. Don't
Yeah.
stab him.
Sorry.
Well, my sister,
You know what? It makes me think of I don't know if you guys have seen Shrek. I think it's like the fourth one where it's like the dad and Shrek, and they're just like tossing food at each other, like yes, the shrimp. And that's just what I'm thinking about right now.
So I told my sister I was going to tell this story. I actually asked her if she would mind if I did, and she said, "No, go ahead." And she said, "Just make sure you tell him I kicked your ass," which
I'd believe it.
didn't happen. Didn't happen. Would never happen. Even now, I think I can still take my sister. Although I don't know. I don't think I'd want to try. So that was my Thanksgiving story.
Love it.
Am I allowed to tell a story that's not like holiday themed, but it made me think of that story?
Sure.
Okay,
but so we do need to let Josie
go
real quick, and then we'll circle back around. So we're gonna toss her into the spotlight here.
Okay, thank you. Mine's pretty quick. Mine is more of like a scary story, not necessarily.
Yes,
that's what I was hoping for.
Okay, so my boyfriend and I were driving to LA for Thanksgiving because we live in Tucson. So I think it's like the I-10, I-8. And we, of course, wanted to leave in the morning, but ended up leaving way later. We wanted to go before it was dark, and we start driving at like 7 o'clock, right? So it's dark by that time. And so as we're driving, we get to a stretch where I think it's a part of Phoenix and then like Yuma or some random town. And I think it's 108 miles or 80 miles of no service, which is important. And there's no lights, no nothing.
That sounds horrifying. No, thank you.
But we've done this drive a ton. His family lives there, and so we've done it back and forth a lot, even at night. So to us, it was like, okay, it's just another time. And sometimes it's good to go at night because the LA traffic gets so bad that sometimes that actually works out for the better. So we're just like, okay, whatever, it's a normal time. And as we're driving, I think we're like halfway through the part where there's no service, no lights, no nothing. And there is a gigantic tire that's like placed in the road. There's no other cars around. I guess it's a weird time that we're going. I think we were a couple days early before the main traffic hit. But there was this huge like tractor tire, and it was perfectly intact. It didn't look like it had fallen. It almost looked oddly placed, like right there.
Ew.
Turn around and leave. Don't go back. Just turn around and leave.
And I have a Hyundai Elantra, and so it's a smaller car. It's a sedan. It's not super high off the ground or anything.
It would lose against a tractor.
Yeah. And so as we're driving, and it's pitch black, so I only see it as we're going like 70 miles down the highway, and I was like, oh shit. So I just, and like, I was trying to think so fast. I was driving, and if you swerve, then you could have the car topple over, or like, it could just be really bad. And so I just like closed my eyes, and I remember holding the wheel and just hitting it head on.
No.
And my car is a smarter car. And so like, if the tire blows out, then it'll let you know. It'll say, it's like 2018. So it'll say, or like if your door's open, it'll let you know. So I was just praying, like my adrenaline was going. I didn't know what was happening. And I was just like, please let everything be okay. Let us be able to make it there. We're in this horrible spot. Like it's pitch black. There's nobody around. What do we do? And my boyfriend was like, oh my gosh. And like a little, of course, like he's nervous too. And I just froze, and I kept driving, and he goes, you need to pull over. You need to make sure that your car's okay. I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right. I should pull over. But I just like was in a fog, and I didn't really know what to do. So I finally pull over, and we get out of the car. There's nobody around, and I'm looking, and there's only a little bit of damage. It's like the bumpers pulled off a bit, and I'm like, well, that sucks, but that could have been so much worse, so it's fine. And we see these headlights pull up in the shoulder, and it looked like a car had been waiting. And so we see these headlights pull up, and so my first thought is, oh, maybe it's somebody who saw what happened. They're coming to check.
Get in the car and drive away.
But I was like, that's so weird. It was just so confusing because that whole tire, like you're already thrown off in the tire situation, which by the way, like that's the point usually with these things is that they try to throw you off.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And so we're so confused, and I'm like still looking at the car. There's some damage to it. And like the lights are on from that car that's coming up, and then the lights turn off and the car disappears. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just thinking, okay, my car is messed up, and my boyfriend and I like don't really talk about it. I'm just thinking all this in my head. Okay, maybe just trying to rationalize. Maybe somebody saw. Maybe they had a pullover. I was just so confused. And the car just disappeared though. Like, it literally was in the shoulder, drove up, and it just disappeared. And
Thank you.
Please tell me you drove away so fast after that happened.
So
No.
so
This is Maggie's next episode, I think.
Yeah,
You need to listen to my podcast, all right? Oh no.
So we like still confused, not sure what to do. And like, you're not thinking about these things as it's happening. And so like, I remember still looking at the car and we're about to get in. We're just still doing like a little examination. And I hear a crunch. Yeah. And it sounds
I'm
like
stressed out right
I hear like
This is how like every single horror story starts.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I
now.
know.
Have
No,
you
this is how they
watched the
end.
movie?
This is how they end.
I know. It's
Let's
a
go hide
classic
behind the
horror story.
chainsaws.
I know. And so like we hear
Why
this
can't we get
crunch,
in a running car?
and the crunch sounds like something that is a big animal. So I'm
No,
like,
thank you.
That's even worse. It's a cryptid.
Like, what is that? And I was like, this is so weird. We're kind of in the middle of nowhere. Why would there be mountain lions? But it just like, the second that I heard like that twig snap, like literally right out of a horror story, the second I heard that twig snap, my heart rate was like through the roof. And I looked at my boyfriend and I go, did you hear that? Like really aggressively. And like, I was not okay. And he looks at me and he goes, get in the car.
Yes, somebody's thinking.
And I was so thankful though, because imagine if he was like, you're crazy, you're just being over dramatic, like we're fine. But he felt it too. And so
I'd have left him. I would have left him.
Right, like, bye.
Bye.
Good riddance. I'll check on you later.
You can have
So,
him.
We open the door and we get in, and I like scramble over. I'm like diving into the seat. Heart rate's going crazy. And I turn the car on and just book it, like full speed, tires shrieking, everything. And I was talking to him, and I was like, did you see that car? We were trying to like figure out what happened. Like, did you see that car that like pulled, that was there and then it just disappeared? And he's like, yeah, I did too. I was so confused by it, but I didn't know. And when we took the car to the shop a couple days later, we told the guy, because we were like,
handprints on the back.
Stop
we were
it.
like, oh,
Stop it right
we go, it's probably nothing. We were probably just overreacting. Like, we're fine. Nothing happened. And the guy at the car place turned like ghost white. And he was like, I am so glad that you made it out there okay, because that is a classic, like anything could have happened. So we're all okay. We're all
literally have chills right now.
But it
I
was
feel like
really
I'm gonna
scary.
throw up.
Yeah,
You're like, I just have a little small story.
Just
No
little,
big
quick
deal.
little story.
it's more of like a horror story, not necessarily.
Maybe-
My heart
like
is
scary
racing right now.
Maybe it was Santa Claus.
Oh my gosh,
Literally,
you could have been Santa Claus.
for Thanksgiving, yeah.
Oh, it was Thanksgiving. Sorry.
It was Thanksgiving.
Bummer.
Yeah,
But
maybe he was scouting.
early. Maybe
Yeah.
it was his
Giant
elves
turkey.
like
He
was
checking in
Krampus.
on us, you know. His elves were just
Well,
making
everybody
sure
knows-
that we were being good.
Everybody knows that Santa winters in Arizona when he's not working.
I've heard that.
Right?
I've heard that.
He's a snowbird, exactly.
Yeah.
But so everybody, like, moral of the story as well, be very careful and know that there's usually a distraction in place before that throws you off. Like, that's all textbook. So just be aware.
I feel like
trust
I'm
your gut.
shaking.
Yeah.
Holy
it was-
crap.
Yeah. But okay, we were okay. Everything's fine. We made it there fine. Like,
Thank
it's
God.
good.
I was
Yeah.
sitting there during the story, like, oh my God, is she okay? No.
I know, right? You guys are like, oh my
I
gosh.
was on the edge
Did
of
she
my
die?
seat.
You're not real bright, are you, Nick?
No.
He's pretty though. That's why we keep him.
Okay.
Oh my God, I am sweating.
Yeah.
We're
That was a
okay.
lot.
Everything's okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I said that though, because I do think people should be cautious of their.
So
But, like,
when did this
100%.
happen? How long ago did this happen? Was this recent or
It was a couple years ago. It wasn't
a couple years ago?
Yeah, it wasn't too long ago. So
And so did you squarely hit? I didn't hear all the details. You
yep, straight
hit
straight
it?
on. Yep.
So
I
you
just
like went
closed my eyes and hit
over
it.
the tire. Oh man.
Yep.
But
Yep.
okay,
and,
so you said it was a tractor tire.
yep.
Tractor tires are huge. They're
It can
they're
be,
like
yeah.
Yep.
they're like
Yep.
3 feet
And-
tall.
and
you
it was
went
so-
over that?
Yep, because it was either that you go straight on or you like swerve, and it was too late to swerve where I thought that would have done more damage. It's like, if an animal comes at you or a deer, how you're not supposed to swerve to try
you
to
just
escape it. You just hit it straight on. So that's the first thing that went through my head. And it was so perfectly placed, like smack dab in the middle of the lane, where it was so bizarre.
It was on its side then, not sitting up like it was gonna roll, right?
No,
like
it was flat. It was like
flat down.
It was like somebody drug it out straight flat and then like smack dab in the middle. Because usually if a tractor tire's in the road, it's like beat up or it's like off to the side or something. But
is that common?
No, I don't know.
Okay, I was gonna say I've literally never seen a tractor.
You're the spooky podcast expert. You got to find out.
I know. I feel like this should be on your
Let
show.
me tell you something. Okay, guys. First
So
off,
it's a good thing that there wasn't something in the tractor tire like concrete or spikes or rebar or something that really would have done even more damage to your car.
Don't give me ideas.
You know what? Okay, so
man,
did it have like the rim or was it just the rubber?
It was just the rubber.
Okay, I was gonna say because a tractor
it looks like
tire,
a lazy setup. It looked like they were like just trying to throw somebody off, but it wasn't like they put in a ton of effort because you probably could have or like put a nail or something. It looked like, and that's also why I was like, this doesn't really make sense. There were some things that were confusing, but the way that it took the car a bit because it took me a second to pull over. My boyfriend had to say, you need to pull over and check to make sure the car's okay. And so it took a second for the car to come from the shoulder, but it looked like the car was sitting in the shoulder for miles back and then drove up and then the lights turned off right as it came and no other car was there. So we don't really know what the intentions were. We don't even know like what would have happened. I'm glad we didn't. I would rather not find out, but everything was way too calculated and too coincidental. Yeah. It could have been fine. Like it literally could have just been a coincidence that there was a tractor in the road, somebody pulled off, and then the car that pulled over never left. Like we never saw them again.
I wonder if they saw two people get out and thought.
That's what you heard crunching. Were you were driving from LA or to LA?
To LA from Tucson.
From Tucson.
Yep.
Okay, so traveling into California, you probably didn't have any firearms with you, so.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's one of those things.
I think I had maybe some pepper spray, and I wasn't even thinking. But it wasn't even on me. Like we would have been completely scred if anything.
Watch, it would have been like someone else had hit the tire too, and they were like pulling over, like, "Golly, are you guys okay?" And you're like, "F this."
Okay, that's what I thought. I mean, like everything's going.
Always trust your gut. Always trust your gut.
Yeah.
I'm convinced everyone is a murderer until proven otherwise.
As you should. And hearing that crackle, like, it still is haunting the way that, because I'm like, what was that sound? Just hearing the stick break of it was like a big, like a thing. It just was all so weird. Again, it could have just been total coincidence. Everything could have been fine. It could have been like the wind, but it just, everything about that is just so bizarre. You did. And the crackle of the twig, like I was like, is that a bear? Is it a mountain lion? And then I was just like, oh my God.
Well, it's definitely a great story.
So, okay, but it definitely had to have been like planted there because a tractor tire, they don't just like have a spare, you know, and they don't have a spare. So, and it's a good thing that it was just the tire because the center, like that hooks up to the tractor, is cast iron.
Yeah.
So that's like solid. So that would have crushed your car.
The only thing that it might have been is if the tractor had dualies on the back, dual tires.
Yeah.
And it slipped off, but no farmer is going to leave a tractor tire laying in the middle
Absolutely
of the road.
Not. Yeah. Absolutely
and also,
not. Yeah.
And it was so perfectly there, like placed there, because even if a tractor falls off, it kind of goes to the side or something. And I feel like they probably didn't put cement or anything so bad because they probably wanted us alive, you know? And so that could have like legit killed us.
That is a scary thing to say. They wanted us alive.
They wanted us alive. I want to vomit all over again.
Yeah. I don't know. But think about it, because if it was more like lethal, then they couldn't rob us or do anything else.
I'm thinking kidnapping and
there are literally there's videos of stuff like that happening. Like there was a branch or like a tree that was in the middle of the road, and this car, and there's been bottles too, like you can find these videos, they're in the middle of the road and a car slows down, but they don't get out, thank God. And then all of a sudden, in one case, there was like 20 people that like swarmed them, and they luckily got out so fast. But that is a legitimate thing. And also another thing, like a PSA, if somebody like puts something on your car, or if like you go into Walmart or whatever, and then you get out, go in your car, and you see there's something on your car, just drive away, because people put things on your car so you get out and take it off. So
it's all about something else
drive
to
away.
distract you. Exactly.
They've never put anything on my car though. I'm not sure why.
You just wait, Nate. Your time's coming. You just wait.
Yes.
Isn't it fun being a girl? Isn't it fun?
Well,
I'm so stressed out.
This pretty much cements it. My daughter is a freshman in college, and she's going to school in the LA area, and she's talking about maybe buying a car for next year, and there's no chance I'm letting her drive out
Not
or
anymore.
back. Nope.
You're like,
Nope,
no.
not through the desert, not happening.
Now your question makes a lot of sense. Hey, where are you going?
Right. Yeah, so I'll be flying out and riding with her for sure.
Yeah.
That's insane, though. That is an
Woof.
insane
So
story.
that's my horror story. It's not about family or anything ugly like that, but
Nope.
Okay.
No, you understood the assignment. That was we're all like,
I told
oh.
Nick, I was like, Nick, is it okay if it's like more scary, not legit? He's like, that's fine.
So have you ever like looked into it though, and like
See if it happened
checked
to
and
other
see
people?
exactly, to see if like there are other people who report that story, or other people that have gone missing driving in that area?
I actually did, and nothing. And that's also why a part of me is like, what? Like, it's just so confusing. Like nothing adds up about it. So, but I didn't see anything, and maybe people just didn't report it, or like it's so weird too, because we were really the only people that was on the road, and if there was a lot of cars, because there is a bunch of traffic that goes through there, it was just a weird time or a weird day. I think it was like a Saturday or something, but there's a lot of people that take that drive. So
It's just so scary.
Super bizarre. I think it might have been a last minute thing, because it seemed kind of lazy and it was only one car, but
A lazy murderer. We love those.
Well,
Right.
honestly though,
It's not that you're the only one that made it out
and
to report it.
It's during the holidays, so maybe they wanted money, maybe like who knows, or maybe they were trying to get who knows, like it could be anything.
And honestly, not to scare you even more, but it probably wasn't just one car. There was probably one car that was stupid enough to turn its lights on to expose itself. Thank God that happened though. But who knows? There were probably more than one car.
I think they turned their lights on because they couldn't see me, because I was so much further than what they expected. That's how it felt, because I took a really long time to pull over into the shoulder until my boyfriend was like, you need to pull over and check the car. But I felt like they calculated, they'll pull over after, so it'll be shorter. And then I kept driving, and then it looked like they were like, wait, where did that person go? So
no, they were probably not even thinking that you were gonna drive over it. They thought you were gonna stop, and then they see you fly over it, and they're like, "Oh shoot!"
But when you're going
hard.
70 miles an hour, and then it's just right in front of you, and it's pitch black. There's no lighting, no service, no nothing, and like it's very
Thank
dark.
God you weren't alone either.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, if you were alone, you wouldn't have stopped. Your boyfriend told you to
I
stop.
just kept
I know. I was just gonna keep going. I was like, I'll trust the car. Like, I just want to keep moving until we get to a city or something, because I didn't want to pull over,
So I did a quick Google search, and I can't find anything that talks about this, but you hear about this.
You're the only survivor.
I know.
Yeah. Oh my
Again,
gosh.
it could have been nothing. It literally could have been like the wind, or just it happened to have there's happened to be a tire in the road.
That's the best part, is that we can pretend
know.
it's not, and you've got a great story.
Exactly.
I don't think we even need to pretend.
Clearly,
Right?
Clearly,
The fact that the mechanic was
clearly that was people up to some shady shit trying to get somebody to go with them.
It.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that the mechanic was so he turned so pale when we told him, because
He was in on it.
Out of it.
He was in on it.
The mechanic in LA, this one random mechanic was like, I knew you.
Yeah.
We're opening up a whole
Like,
conspiracy.
I know this car. Wait a
It got
minute.
him more business.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
How
that was
many
the very
mechanics are in
least.
LA? Like,
wait, B, you're onto something. Maybe it was the mechanic because he's like, that's kind of slow. I need to put a
Ooh, I like
tire in front of things.
Stories taking a full circle.
Amazing story.
Yeah, so
Amazing
that's my
story.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is definitely the crowd for that.
We should have ended with that, guys.
I know.
Not
Sorry.
I know. I want more. Now we're just gonna have like, ugh.
All right.
I want more.
All right, who's next?
Well,
I have to
Thanks,
go.
Josie.
On that note,
I'll leave you with that.
Yeah,
Actually,
here's that bomb. Bye, everybody.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm driving tomorrow, and I've like scared myself. It's during the day though. We're going to Sedona, so I'm packing up and getting ready for that. I'll let you guys know if anything happens.
Well, you won't have reception,
God.
so you can't really let us know.
Ooh, even scarier.
God, Mac.
I guess I'll have to wait.
Well,
Oh
thank
my
you
gosh,
so
I'm
much for your
sweating.
story. Make sure to
Thank you,
catch
guys.
Josie Saturday nights on the Josie Show on Titan TV, and she's going to be coming back to streaming as well soon. So keep an eye out for that. But
Thank you guys. I appreciate
Awesome.
it.
Have a good
You
night.
have a good rest of your night.
Bye.
And Mags had a story I think she wanted to share next. We're going to toss her up there.
Okay, so mine's not. It was because of your story, Nate, that I thought of it. So it's like an embarrassing story for me. So, do you guys know The Office?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So there's an episode.
Nick, have you heard about The Office? Sorry. Have you heard of this, Nick? The Office?
Should I go get my my Dundee fun?
Good Lord.
So as much as I don't want to admit it, sometimes I'm like Kevin in that episode where like people are asking opinions and Kevin's like, everyone is looking at me right now. So whenever like people listen to me talk, I'm like, this is the best. So that's why I started a podcast.
I love it.
But my senior year of high school, I was in like this class. I don't even remember what it was, but one of the people in the class started talking about 8th grade year and how something happened with this one girl. And I don't want to get into the details because it's not great. Like it was like she and her boyfriend snuck away and like you can fill in the blank. And the principal caught them and they got in trouble. And the girl said some things about the boy and the boy got in trouble and no one believed it. Everyone thought it was bogus. So they were asking about that. And I was like, well, let me fill you in on the details. And I wasn't being quiet because I just love the attention, whatever. And then I'm talking about it. All of a sudden behind me, I hear, that's not how it happened. And I'm like, the girl is directly behind me. The girl I'm talking so much crap about is just literally like 2 feet behind me.
Oops.
And I swear to like everything, I thought she was going to hit me right in the face. It was just so bad. And so that's what I thought about when you're like, I was kind of talking about my sister's boyfriend and my brother said something. So I was like, I know exactly what that feels like.
Oh my God.
Gosh, I like still sweat about it because I felt so bad. But she's honestly not a good person, so it's not that bad, but I still feel bad.
You should have turned around and be like, yeah, it is. Like,
Yeah, I said it.
I know.
I said it. What you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
Punch me in the face. Do it. Punch me in the face. That is another quote from Step Brothers. My life is full of quotes, if you can't tell.
Appreciate
Love
it. I like it.
Love it. Well, before you jump into your actual story that you brought with us, we do need to give a shout out to Asian Man 593, aka Chris, who is one of our fellow Titan streamers who just rated us with a party of 7. So thank you so much, Chris. You are welcome to join us if you have any energy left. But I know you just streamed, so feel free to go.
Yeah, that's
take care
so
of yourself and do what you
taxing.
need to do.
Hey, man.
Streaming is so physically exhausting.
You better be careful. These streamers about to come for you.
Bring it.
Let me fighting words. Nate's ready to fight. He's ready to fight his stepdad.
I'm fired up. I'm ready. That time
So they're on good
back to
terms,
that
but they're ready to fight.
Nate will be throwing hands by the end of the night. But yes, 18, welcome in. Feel free to stick around. We are sharing holiday horror stories. You just missed an actual horror movie esque story. So sorry for that. You'll have to go back and watch that.
Still
Go back and watch that right now.
Definitely.
But,
Still
That,
recovering.
that bit doesn't work on a live stream. Never mind.
But yeah, Meg's about to share her story. Also, hello to one of my OG from my streaming days, Olaz Jr. So welcome in, buddy. Thanks for being here. But yeah, sorry, floor is back to you.
Okay,
Fuck.
so I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because it's not a good story, it's a gross story. So this literally happened this year.
Okay, wait, I have to shut my door. Keep talking, but I'll be right back.
So it's a Thanksgiving story because obviously Christmas hasn't happened yet. I participated in Blackout Wednesday because I'm young and I can do that, whatever. And it's very tame now that I'm getting older, but I hung out with a lot of my boyfriend's friends, and one of his friends made steak.
Oh,
And
time out. I'm old, so I have no idea what this is. I'm going to
Oh.
assume from context clues that the Wednesday night before Thanksgiving you go out and get loaded to the point of blacking out. Is
Yeah,
that what?
so I
Am I
don't take
close?
it that far, but
Okay.
yes, that's the
But people do.
concept. It's
We
because
just call that. Come on, this is Wisconsin. We just call that Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah. Not everyone's from Wisconsin, so I have to fill in the blanks, you know.
Okay.
It's true.
So it's basically the holiday before Thanksgiving because you have to put up with all your family and you just kind of prepare yourself for it, essentially. So I did not feel like the steak tasted that good. So I just kind of stopped eating. I didn't really drink that much. And then the next day I felt okay. In the middle of the night, I had like a headache and my stomach didn't feel the best, but whatever. So I woke up and we hung out with his mom and I had like 6 things of French toast. I had so much French toast. And we finally got in the car and I'm like, oh, my stomach does not feel good. But I was like, you know what, whatever. It's an hour and 10 minutes to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. So I was like, at this point, I'm okay. I can get there. So as we drive, it gets worse and worse and worse. And I'm just like leaning back with the window down and it's like 20 degrees, but I'm like, I need air. I need it so bad. And it's continuously getting worse and worse and worse. So we're like 15 minutes away from my brother's house, which is like 2 minutes away from my family's house. We have to drop off the dog. But I just feel horrible. I need a break. So my boyfriend pulls over in a gas station and he lets the dog walk around. And I'm literally just sitting on the back bumper of his truck with my head in my hands, like, this is the worst day of my life. I don't know what I'm going to do. I still have to drive for another 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to make it. And I just like get a couple breaths in and we keep charging on. And finally we get to my brother's house. And I'm like, okay, I might as well just try and like get it out of me because I feel like I'm going to throw up at this point. And I can't. Nothing happens.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah, it's so bad. Like, I'm sweating.
When you have to, but you can't. Oh,
Yeah.
Why didn't you try that at the gas station?
I did actually. I did, but
Oh,
it didn't work.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have to. So my brother has 3 dogs, and they don't get along with the one dog we have. So I have to put all the dogs in like this fenced area, and for some reason my boyfriend is not helping me at all. I don't know why, but I'm like trying to wrangle these dogs into the fenced area, and like I'm feeling terrible. And this one dog I'm kind of scared of. I'm trying to like get it in there, but I'm not trying to grab it. And all of a sudden, like, here we go. So I literally like wobble over behind the truck and my insides just come out. I aggressively vomit all over the floor in my brother's freaking front yard. He has 2 little kids that love to play in the front yard. I literally spread my feet out like 4 feet and my shoes got covered in vomit.
oh God.
Were you like a sprinkler? Were you like?
No, I was just so aggressive. It came out so hard. And then I had to go home or go to my parents' house and look at all this food. And it was disgusting. Like I was just so bad because my stomach was so messed up. Oh, that happened like a month ago.
Let's be clear. It probably wasn't the booze that was the problem. You said the steak. You said you had some steak.
Well, this is the weird part though. So I talked to a bunch of his friends of that night and they're like, 2 weeks ago, we had the same thing happen to them. And they said it was like a virus that went around and it mimicked food poisoning. So I think I had that. Yeah, it was really weird because a lot of people had the steak. So I don't know. And then this is a really bad part. I hope none of my family listens to this. So I didn't tell anyone. And everyone just assumed that I was like hungover or whatever. And I like wasn't.
Which is the worst part. It's like you're acting hungover and you didn't even like do enough to make it worth it.
Well, then 2 of my siblings got sick with the same thing. And I was like, I told you I wasn't hungover. But yeah, that's my holiday horror one for Thanksgiving. I have a Christmas one too. But that's my Thanksgiving one.
God.
Yeah,
Love
I've
it.
got
Well,
So bad.
sounds like we're coming back around for round 2. So, Kelly B, who wants up next?
I don't have a Thanksgiving one, so
That's okay.
That's fine. Tell whatever you got.
We can
Yeah.
we can dive into Christmas.
Mine's not even really like mine's Thanksgiving, but it's not even like I just witnessed it and it wasn't bad. It was just like tension.
It is.
all right.
Making decisions over here. That's why they pay me the small bar.
Mine's pretty short, but
That's what Josie said.
Mine's not like hers.
Better be Josie level.
By the way, Nick, B hates you right now for putting her front and center on the screen.
I don't hate you.
I just don't like you.
I just don't like you that much.
I actually told this story like a year ago on my 100th episode, so if you want to hear it
It's fresh.
twice, then you can go back to it, But so it was Christmas. I think I was like, gosh, I had to be like 8 or 9. I was like pretty little. And my cousin, like we always went to my cousin's house like on Christmas for like dinner. And she got one of those marshmallow guns that like you put a marshmallow in and you like blow into it and it shoots out.
Yes.
Yeah. So we thought it would be like such a good idea to like go across the room. Like I went across the room and I opened my mouth and she like shot a marshmallow in there. And like I think it was like we did it like a few times, like different distances. And then like the farthest one away, she shot it and it went like straight down my throat.
Oh god.
And I started choking. And I was like afraid that we were gonna get in trouble. So like I was just trying to like swallow. And it was probably like a solid minute before I like went like this because I was like so afraid I was gonna get in trouble.
No, that's like the friend that like breaks their leg and they're like, no, I'm fine. Like you're choking, but it's like
yeah, I like
I'm
totally
fine.
I like sat next to my mom on the couch and I was just like chilling there choking for like a solid minute.
You're like crying, your face is red. Crying.
And then I like tapped my mom and I was like she was like, what the heck, you're choking? So she like puts me in the Heimlich and then like it dissolved and like I was like, no, I'm good because she was like about to like break my ribs. And yeah, that was my
I just love the nonchalant like hey mom.
You're sitting there watching
Anyway,
turning blue.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey mom, what are you watching? Cool. I can't breathe.
yeah.
But another PSA for that. The game Chubby Bunny?
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah.
That is a dangerous game. Do not play it because
do not play that game.
marshmallows can melt and go down your throat and like get stuck there and you could die. So
I learned.
Yeah,
See?
she's
Exactly.
B's like, I'm good with marshmallows. I actually haven't had one since.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Oh
good.
my
I
God.
actually thought of another story from that too.
Oh, well.
Okay, ready?
Wait, Chris
Okay.
is leaving. Bye, Chris.
Yes, bye, Chris. I was trying to
Bye,
type it,
Chris.
but I've got one hand holding a dog here and the other hand trying to type,
Oh.
and then also move people.
Okay, so spotlight. Here we go again.
Here we go.
So
I
this
love
was
it.
like
Everybody's
2
looking at me.
Everyone is listening to me.
Didn't you just say 2 minutes ago you love the attention?
So, I think this was like 2 or 3 years ago. This isn't like a scary or like terrible story. This is hilarious. So we were making mimosas for Thanksgiving morning because hell yeah, right? And
As one does.
my boyfriend and his sister were trying to shoot the cork at this is gonna be hard to follow, his mom's boyfriend. He was just like sitting on the couch scrolling through his phone and they couldn't get the cork off. So they're like trying to push it off with their thumbs. They're using like a shoe to bang it off, It's a solid 5 minutes of trying to do this. And somehow the boyfriend's oblivious, not paying attention. So they have a shoe and they're hitting the bottom of it with a shoe to get the cork off. So finally they can feel it budging and they pop it off. Well, then champagne starts spewing everywhere because they like shook it up like
Shook
crazy.
it. Yeah.
So my boyfriend, he's so funny. He's like, well, I don't want to waste it. So it's shooting out. So he like puts it over his mouth and it shoots down his throat. And he's crying, like his eyes are watering, and he's like, I can't breathe. Like he's not breathing. And then this is the best part. He farts in the middle of it. It's just drooling out of his mouth, not able to breathe.
All the air is like, I have to go somewhere.
Literally. Then his mom just like slaps him super hard on the back, and just champagne spews out of him, like not throwing up, but like all that was trapped in his lungs. Oh, it was so funny. I literally thought he was gonna die. I thought that was it.
So since you were Meg, since you were giving PSAs, I've got a PSA here. When you open when you open a champagne bottle, the proper way of doing it,
is usually not with a shoe.
No. So what you want to do is you want to have a towel in your hand, and you put the
I thought you had a bottle of champagne. They were like,
yeah. It is.
How cool would that have been? No, but then you work the cork out with the towel on the hand. The reason that you do that is because of the neck of that bottle, with the pressure from the cork and not having that cage on there, that could shatter and cut your hand up. So you always want to use a towel to open up a bottle of champagne.
Also, don't open a champagne bottle with a machete. Don't do that.
Okay. Wow, we were going to try that next. So it's good thing we did not do that.
But the whole neck of the bottle breaks. And so then you're like, I'll just drink some shattered glass in my champagne and not know about it. Excellent. I almost had a champagne bottle take my eye out. So that's
good.
So
not
champagne,
ideal.
Not ideal. Champagne is a
dangerous
weapon.
Game. It's a dangerous game. One might say the most deadliest game. Only one,
it's a
though.
Tasty, delicious, dangerous game.
Okay, right, I think it's Kelly's turn.
I think you're up now.
Who?
Okay.
Oh, Kelly.
Me. Sorry, I have to go, and then you can go again.
Shoot.
So my now I kind of want to tell my champagne near-death experience.
Do it
real quick. I didn't even do it though. I opened it properly, like Nate said, with the towel, or like I was about to. I had put it on the table, and I was reaching to get a towel.
And
when I turned back around, the cork just popped as I was about to lean over it, and I was like,
"That can happen."
I guess.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Or a ghost just went, got it. Don't worry. Yeah. So anyway, that was my near-death experience with a champaign bottle.
That's so scary.
It was frightening. It like hit the ceiling. My friend was like, "The fuck was that?" And I was like, "I almost died. It's fine.
Shoot your eye out, kid."
You can shoot your eye out with that thing. Holiday. I love it. So yeah, I don't have my holidays have been perfect and nothing's ever gone wrong, so it's kind of hard to relate. But the danger of it, I suppose, comes from Thanksgiving. My dad used to deep fry turkeys. And I'm sure because like deep fried turkeys were like really popular for a while, and then there was the like people were just dropping them in and then starting forest fires.
Oh, they still are.
They still are. Good.
Around Thanksgiving, that's all that was on TikTok. It was great. Yep. I love turkey fried.
It turns into like a like a cannon,
a fountain of lava flowing out of the.
So my dad is a very cautious person, and so he puts it in really slow and like it sizzles and it's great, and all of us are like sitting way back here, like just in case, and he's like, I'm missing eyebrows, it's fine, it's going in totally fine, but we always set him up right next to the pool just in case. Just in case it overflows and we need to kick it in there, and it never does, and it always comes out great. So it's not like I have nothing. I was asking my dad earlier, I'm like, do we have any horror stories? And he's like, yeah, every year I almost burn my arms off. I was like, okay, I'll tell that story. Like, I don't have anything. I'm trying to think what else. Last Christmas I had
gave you my heart. No,
I kind of well, except no. I was like, I got engaged. Ugh. And then so I had the
no big deal.
It's whatever. But for some reason, before we got engaged, I was like, the in-laws can't come because what if something happens and we break up? or whatever. Like, it's just gonna ruin that Christmas or whatever was going on inside my psychotic head. Little did I know that I was the only one in the room that didn't know I was getting engaged later. Like, so we got engaged, and then my mom was like, so can they come to Christmas now? And so I was like, yeah,
we might break up still. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Jury's still out. So anyway, that's it. Now I'm just here for moral support. You guys are great.
I just love that one video that's a guy deep frying a turkey, and he's like, or the person recording is like, getting ready for Thanksgiving, and then a kid walks out, and the dad's like, get inside, get inside.
It's so bad. Like, if you just do it slowly, like, people are just dropping them in, and half the time they're still frozen. So it's like,
they can't be frozen or it explodes.
Oh, it's so exciting, but don't do it. Yeah. Yeah. We would do it in
Record
Tahoe
it
too.
away from me, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah, that's what we did.
I saw a video of a guy that rigged up a pulley with a rope and tied the turkey to the rope, and then stood back like 20 feet and lowered it in with the rope, a little bit at a time. That was pretty creative.
I'll tell him that. I'll tell him for next time. Now we barbecue turkeys.
The other things I've seen recently is Blackstone griddles, outdoor griddles are making are becoming very, very popular, and those are sealed. They use propane to heat it, but they're sealed. So I've seen people put their turkey pots on the Blackstone to heat up the oil and fry it that way, which eliminates the risk of fire.
That's nice. So, safety is good.
So if you have a Blackstone and you fry turkeys, you're welcome.
Do that.
You're welcome.
We'll see you next year with that.
Love it. Nate, I think we're back around to you.
All right.
Nick, do you not have a story?
Yeah. You're just going to make us talk about it?
Yeah,
what a slave driver.
How dare you?
All right, sure, I'll tell a story.
Nick is not talent. Come on.
Bad luck, bros. Come on. You got to have something.
No, I mean, the craziest holiday happened. I mean, I was probably maybe 10, 11 years old. My grandparents were hellbent. We're Italian, so we celebrate on Christmas Eve. And they were, Christmas Eve is always at my grandparents' house. Well, they had a dog, and my mom is very allergic to, fur. But normally she, can make it through. So we all went there, and, she's going through the night, and, it's getting harder to breathe, and her meds aren't working. And then finally gets to the point where she just, can't do it anymore. So, I'm the oldest, and there were probably 5 other kids there, along with my mom's 2 sisters, my grandparents, and their families. So my mom can't take it anymore. So we're like, okay, well, what do? We haven't even had dinner yet. So we pack everything up, and we're the only ones that lived close to my grandparents, which is about 10, 15 minutes away. So we gather everything up, all the presents, all the food. We move it all over to our house, which is not prepared for, to entertain people. And we have to have Christmas there. So now we're about to open presents, and the one youngest kid is standing there. He's probably, 3 or 4 years old. And while we're opening presents, suddenly he just goes up and stands by the Christmas tree and just vomits. Just all over the floor.
I was not expecting.
So they pick him up, and they're holding him over the sink while he continues to vomit.
How is it that the smallest people just continue vomiting? They just don't stop.
And so then we had to clean that up and still try to make it through Christmas after all of that. And that was pretty much the craziest Christmas
That's beautiful.
that we had. So
that's a great story.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of allergies, I thought of someone else's story. It's my sister-in-law that I'm just gonna
do it.
My father-in-law loves to tell the story of how Katie ruined Thanksgiving. Because that's when she discovered she's allergic to tree nuts.
Oh.
And it was fine. Katie, you're fine. Katie, you're fine. Just take some Benadryl. You're fine.
Anaphylactic shock.
Yeah, she's sitting there like,
oh my god,
it's fine.
Oh, no.
It's fine.
To be fair, Katie,
I have a horror story about that.
Kind of like sitting on the couch choking on a marshmallow.
Yeah, exactly. And so she they took her to the hospital finally, and they were like, oh, Oh yeah, you are definitely. What'd you have? Don't have those anymore.
Oh, you're not faking it? This is real?
Oh, this is it. Yeah. So like he felt bad afterwards, but it's also how it's any time it can come up. It's like, remember when Katie ruined Thanksgiving? Ugh, right? Like she's like, I almost died, Dad.
But it's your fault. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't ever let that happen again.
Ever again.
Love it.
Anyway.
Nate, back around to you.
All right,
Christmas
so
time.
my Christmas story. This goes way back 30 some years ago, when I was a freshman in high school. As I said, I came from a divorced family, and we had one of the benefits of having a divorced family is you get multiple Christmases. So yeah, Beanos, so I would get 3 Christmases every year. We'd go with my dad and stepmom and grandparents on my dad's side, and my aunt and uncle, and then we usually did that the week before or the week after Christmas. It was never on Christmas. It was always the week before or the week after. Then Christmas Eve, we'd spend it at home with just our immediate family, mom, stepdad, my sister, brother, and me. And then Christmas Day, we would drive down to my grandparents in the Milwaukee area and have a big Christmas with my mom's side of the family. Well, this year, my freshman year of high school, I got so sick. This was during school. So this was the week before Christmas and the week of Christmas. I got so sick. I had like canker sores all over the inside of my mouth. I couldn't stop throwing up. There was one day I set the record, my personal record of throwing up 23 times that day.
How? At that point, how?
It was all. Were you just continuously eating after you?
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm full.
No,
I'm empty now.
I had to drink water. I had to drink water so I didn't have the dry heaves. It was horrible. It was really, really bad. I lost 30 pounds over 2 weeks.
Oh, that's how you do it.
I didn't eat for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you were talking to me about going to the gym.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah, I just got back from the gym. I got a wedding dress to fit into. That's how you doing, huh?
And oh man, it was the worst I've ever felt in my life.
Ugh.
And I missed Christmas with my dad. I was like in bed the whole time that my mom and stepdad during our family Christmas Eve, but then Christmas Day, I didn't go down there either. I tried to. So my dad was my dad was the band director at the high school I went to, and I would have ended up missing the school Christmas concert. So he actually made me come into school the day of the concert, thinking that, okay, well, you can just sit in my office so that you can be part of this concert. I'm sitting in there miserable. And finally, I'm just like, I'm going home. I can't stay. I can't do this concert. And I just went home, and that was it. Wow. But yeah, it was really, that was the worst, the worst Christmas ever.
Ugh.
And so I don't know if you guys know this, but Jim Carrey made a movie called 23, and everything revolves around 23. So he threw up 23 times. So that says something.
You aligned with the universe. I have seen that movie. He
Goes
so nuts
weird.
in it.
Yeah. Because so like it's like a curse of 23 where like everything, like you connect everything to 23. And once you realize it, it makes you go crazy because you can't get away from the number 23.
Well, there you go. I just gave you another one.
Another one. Now you guys aren't going to be able to forget about it, and you're going to see it everywhere. I swear. So I watched it with my friend, and we would like take Snapchats, and then we would check the time, and it was always like something to do with 23. It was so crazy.
It's 6:03 and 23 seconds right now in California.
Bro, it's everywhere. I told you. That's why Jim Carrey's so crazy now.
Yeah. He was like, haha. Wait.
It was probably 23 years ago. I betcha. And then he went crazy. Another one.
No, it wasn't 23 years ago.
Bummer. I was going out on a limb on that one.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to actually check it.
I was like, oh no, I definitely was old enough to watch that.
All right. Does anybody else have any stories?
I have a Florida man.
I got another Christmas story.
We'll do Mag's story. I think we'll pass on Florida Man this week.
All right.
Well, this time because we've already hit our hour.
Oh.
We're worried if we're gonna be. I'm like, we got chatters here. You know, we will have no problem filling an hour.
I was gonna say,
I'm
do
the
you
chatter.
even know me?
Podcasters.
Yeah, honestly.
So
we don't shut up.
we'll spare you the spotlight if you want to just go ahead and share it.
Okay. So, I was in bed texting one of my friends, and he was like, "Did I ever tell you about my cousin in Indiana?" And I'm like, "No." And so this is near Christmas time. That's why it's relevant. It's like 5 days away. And he's like, "Yeah. So one time, my cousin, he was babysitting his friends across the street, whatever. And he was going to make them dinner. So he went downstairs and he went to the freezer to get a pizza. And then he don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, by the way, because I'm sure someone knows this story. But he gets a pizza out of the freezer and he like looks to the side and he sees like this clown statue. So he's like, nope, not going back down here. So he like runs up the stairs because he's freaked out. So he just makes the pizza, whatever, and he puts the kids to bed after a while. And the mom finally checks in and she's like, "Hey, how are things going? What's going on?" And he's like, "Everything's great, you know, kids are great, they're in bed. One thing though, you didn't tell me about that clown statue. That's really creepy. Like, heads up next time would have been great." So she like pauses for a second and he doesn't hear a response. And he's like, "Hello, are you still there?" And she's like, "Grab the kids, get out of the house. We do not have a clown statue." So my friend is telling me this at like midnight in my house. And I'm freaking out because I'm terrified of clowns. And I'm like, Indiana, that's not that far. Like, it could have traveled. And I'm pretty sure this was the year where like people were dressing up like clowns and chasing us around. So I'm like super paranoid. And he's like, "Okay, I'm going to go to bed. Good night. Like, have a good night." And I'm like,
bye.
like, figure it out. So I'm like, okay, be rational here. There's no clown in your house. Like, everything is fine. And I'm like sweating, breathing really heavy, not able to sleep. And I like my door or my bedroom was like just angled enough so I could like see slightly out the door. And I'm like, just don't look out the door. Just don't look. Like, if it's in there, it's out there. If you're safe in here, everything's fine. So then I like start to kind of I start to like peek around the hallway. And all of a sudden I see like this red thing. And I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, I swear it was like 10 minutes of me like just slowly inching to see it. And it turns out it was just like a stupid little stocking. But I was freaked out for like 10 days. So then finally, like, I tell someone else about this story because it's a crazy story. I'm like, "Did Kyle ever tell you what happened to his cousin?" So I'm telling my friends this story and they're like, "You are an idiot. That is folklore. That is not a true story." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So I just felt so dumb after that.
Oh my God.
But I like didn't sleep for a week after that story because it scared the crap out of me.
Oh my God.
But it was all a lie.
I
I
thought
was
you
like,
were-
"What?"
I thought you were going to say it was Santa.
No.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is real. No, I confronted him too, and he's like, "I thought you knew. I thought you would have understood. That's not a real story." And I'm like,
Did it look like I understood that was a real story?
"Yeah, I was."
Did
so
that look like a
freaked out.
reaction? Someone that knew? God.
Well, you know,
God.
tractors in the middle of the road was an urban myth too until it actually
That's
happened to
true.
somebody.
True dat.
That's true.
And, you know, the same thing happened to me. I think it might have been like 3 years prior. I was watching all the Scream movies with my friends, and I went upstairs because I was in like the basement. I went upstairs to get like a snack or whatever, and I hear this noise coming down the hallway, and I'm like, "Stop scaring yourself. Scream is not real. Everything is fine." And I like look into the hallway, and all of a sudden I see this black thing walking towards me. It's my mom with a black blanket over herself. She didn't even know I was watching those movies. She was just cold.
I would hit my. I would tackle my mom. Just like, oh my God.
It was like it's not real. It can't be real. It's just a movie. And then all of a sudden you see someone wearing like almost a black robe, and it's like, this is real. I'm gonna die. This is the end.
God.
How fast can I run?
How fast can I run? Let's find out.
Oh gosh.
God.
My little brother took action one time. My dad went to go scare him he had this Darth Vader mask that was hanging like on his doorknob on the outside. My brother had his door closed, so my dad puts it on and like goes right up to the door and knocks on it. And my brother opens the door, and I've never seen anything like it. In one move, he jumps, punches my dad in the face,
He's like,
turns around and slams the door shut.
Attaboy.
We never let him live that down.
Well, it's it's fight or flight, and I tend
or
to
freeze.
That's
Freeze.
true.
He did both in one move. It was crazy.
He fought, froze, and flew on the same time.
That's like that video, or it was like a Vine a long time ago, where somebody scares the guy and he's like, ha! Not even worried about it.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one. I'm not even worried about it. I don't even
Not
care.
even worried about it. I'd have killed you.
That's why I don't do haunted houses or anything like that, because my fight or flight goes heavily to fight, and I would end up hurting somebody.
Yeah, that's
The last haunted house I went to, I just kept complimenting them. I was like, "You look great. You look."
Who does
I
your
bet
makeup?
you. Honestly, I've never seen you look better. They were like, "It worked." They were like,
To be
"Well,
fair,
you're
I
not fun."
think Nate's fight or be a normal person also leans heavily towards fight.
Yeah,
He wants to throw hands all the time.
he's ready to throw hands at all texts.
What's that supposed to mean, Nick, huh?
Yeah.
Hey,
We're in the same
Wisconsins
state.
You Wisconsins are rough.
That's right. All right. Well, let's go around the horn. Everybody, when and where can people find you? We have all podcasters here, so
Heck yeah.
We're the real ones.
So we'll go in order.
And this is a podcast too.
That's right.
Indeed.
That's right. Nate, you're up.
Yeah, we are Two Beards Please podcast. You can find us everywhere podcasts are podcasted. We have a website, twobeardsplease.com, or you can find us on the Titan Media Collective website, which is titanmediacollective.com.
Bam, you had that dialed. I gotta work on my.
Yeah,
That was
I was going to
good.
say mine's rough.
Yeah.
I've said I said it several times.
So
Yeah.
second that, but with You Don't Want to Know podcast. Where is it? Right here.
That's right.
There it is. Or YDWK at Instagram or Facebook.
Awesome. B?
So my podcast is Arbitrary Advice, and you can find me on Instagram at Arbitrary Advice, on Twitter at Advice Arbitrary, because it had to be backwards, and you can find it anywhere you listen.
Nice.
Kelly, people can now find you places. So
Yeah. Now, and then I realized too in today or tomorrow's episode 2 that's coming out tomorrow, everywhere you listen to podcasts, I said the Instagram name wrong again. So maybe on the
I used to do that too.
because when we first did it, it was like, oh, we'll just do good luck everybody else, perfect, or everyone else, perfect. I was like, that's way too long.
You got it wrong again.
Yeah. I don't even know my podcast name. Our podcast, I am 1K of Kelly and Kelsey for Good Luck Everybody Else. Good luck everyone else. We're still new. We're working out the kinks.
It's fine. Everything's
God.
We're going to change the name.
This is my our Instagram handle. This right here. GLEveryone.else on Instagram. Or you can listen to us every Friday where you get your podcasts. And tomorrow episode 2 comes out.
Awesome.
So exciting.
And of course, as always, make sure that you head over to TitanMediaCollective.com to see all of our amazing creators. Kelly, you're up there now. So
I am? Okay, I was about to throw so much sass at you. I wasn't this morning.
Yes, you can go find all of our amazing creators, podcasters, streamers, Titan TVers, which is where we're going to be. Wait, is today Thursday?
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was Wednesday. I literally am a substitute teacher and I taught Wednesday's lesson.
Oh my God. But
don't hire me.
Yeah. But you can find us at all those places. So tomorrow night, we are not going to be live, but Allie Over Allison, twitch.tv/Allie Over Allison is doing a charity stream. So let's all go show some support to that tomorrow. We'll post more about it. We'll put links on our Instagram and everywhere. So make sure to check that out. Go support some amazing causes. And then Saturday, we're actually going to be live here and on YouTube. Both places. Our cookie decorating contest is going to actually kick off our Titan TV broadcast. So really excited for that. Exciting stuff. You're not going to want to miss that. So that's going to be live. It's going to be a good time. It was a super fun time last year, and we got more peeps involved this year. It's going to be great. So make sure you check that out. We are going to go raid out. I think she's still going. Yep. So we're going to go raid out Hero Carrie tonight. She is playing Just Dance. That's her new go-to. And honestly, it's
a winner.
It's one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. So
pretty spectacular. Yeah.
Go join the fun, and we're going to get that raid going here in just about 10 seconds. But thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to our amazing creators for being a part of this and sharing your stories. Josie was here earlier as well. We'll be
Josie won
about that.
Yeah,
Josie won.
God, we'll see if we can get her to sell the rights to us to make a movie on it. So,
short film.
I want to play Josie.
Love it. All right, we're heading over. Let's go say hi to Hero Carrie. We'll see you on Saturday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Deuces.